Despite being on her third marriage, Meghan continues to interfere in my life. If she does not stop, I will formally approach the royal household and expose questions surrounding her pregnancies and her dirty yacht past.
For more than 10 years, Meghan Markle has lived beneath an unblinking spotlight, every chapter of her life examined, edited, and repackaged for public consumption. Her history, once messy and ordinary, has been smoothed into a sleek narrative of resilience, reinvention, and destiny. But that carefully constructed image is now facing its most serious challenge yet. In a move that stunned even seasoned royal watchers, Trevor Engelson, Meghan's first husband, the man who knew her long before titles, tiaras, and palace gates, has stepped forward with an explosive interview that reads less like a reflective conversation and more like a declaration of war. Speaking exclusively to a high-profile outlet, Engelson made it clear he was done staying silent. He did not soften his words. He did not hedge. According to Engelson, despite Meghan now being in her third marriage, she continues to interfere in his life. And then came the line that sent shockwaves far beyond celebrity gossip columns. If she does not stop, he will formally approach the royal household and raise questions about her pregnancies and what he called her dirty yacht past. Those words didn't just land with tabloid impact. They echoed through royal circles where insiders are already whispering about the implications. This is no longer idle speculation or anonymous online rumor. This is a named source, someone with documented history, directly challenging the version of events Meghan has spent years reinforcing, a version that frames her primarily as a victim of circumstance rather than a calculated architect of chaos. Engelson's decision to go public is not happening in a vacuum. It comes at a particularly sensitive moment in Meghan's life and in the life of the monarchy itself. Her trajectory, from actress to duchess to global activist, has been dramatic, but sources close to Engelson say his patience finally ran out. According to those familiar with the situation, he has endured years of subtle interference. Phone calls routed through intermediaries, quiet legal pressure related to shared assets, and repeated attempts to reshape their shared past in ways that benefit Meghan's public image. One associate close to Engelson put it bluntly, "This isn't about revenge, it's about the truth." She's moved on multiple times, the source said, but she won't let him do the same. The timing is impossible to ignore. With King Charles reportedly considering further streamlining of the monarchy, any scandal that seriously undermines Meghan's credibility could offer the leverage needed to reassess her status entirely. Stripping a duchess of her title is no small matter, but Engelson's claims, if substantiated, could make that once unthinkable scenario suddenly plausible. What makes this bombshell especially potent is the way personal grievances bleed into institutional consequences. Engelson isn't just venting old wounds. He's hinting at information that could destabilize Meghan's legitimacy within the royal framework itself. Questions about her pregnancies, long dismissed as fringe conspiracy theories, now have a named individual stepping forward, claiming first-hand knowledge. And the reference to a dirty yacht past evokes images of exclusive parties, powerful connections, and a world that clashes sharply with the humanitarian image Meghan promotes today. Engelson claims he has emails, documents, and witnesses prepared to back up his assertions. As the interview spread rapidly across social media, reactions polarized instantly. Supporters dismissed him as a bitter ex seeking relevance. Critics, however, saw his words as confirmation of suspicions they've harbored for years. But beneath the noise, a more consequential reality emerged. This could be the catalyst that forces Buckingham Palace to act. The stakes are heightened further by reports of strain in Meghan's marriage to Prince Harry, with persistent rumors of separate lives and diverging ambitions. Engelson's threat to bypass public channels and go straight to the royal household places the burden squarely on the institution to respond. Insiders suggest that legal teams are already reviewing precedents for removing royal honors. One palace source reportedly remarked that if credible evidence emerges, it simplifies matters dramatically. Then came another revelation layered within the first. Engelson alleged that Meghan's first marriage may not have been to him at all. According to his claims, she may have married someone else at just 19 years old. Years before she ever met Engelson. That assertion alone threatens to tear open a past Meghan has guarded fiercely. The alleged early marriage is said to have occurred during her college years at Northwestern University, possibly a whirlwind relationship that ended in annulment or was deliberately concealed to protect her early Hollywood ambitions. Sources close to Engelson describe it as a youthful decision shrouded in secrecy, one that never fit the clean narrative later presented to the public. Whispers of such a marriage have circulated quietly for years, but Engelson's direct acknowledgement elevates them from rumor to a potentially verifiable accusation. Investigative threads point to fragmented accounts from Meghan's pre-fame life. where former classmates hinted at a secret ceremony, possibly at a courthouse or even abroad during a study program. Engelson, who met Meghan later in her 20s, reportedly noticed inconsistencies during their marriage. She minimized them, sources say, but they contributed to a broader pattern of revising history to maintain a spotless image. Now, investigators speculate that marriage licenses from California or Illinois, testimony from college acquaintances, or sealed annulment records could surface. If verified, the implications go far beyond embarrassment. They cut directly into royal protocol. Any undisclosed union would raise serious questions about the vetting process that precedes marriage into the royal family, a process specifically designed to uncover precisely this kind of hidden history. Legal analysts familiar with royal procedures note that failure to disclose prior marriages could trigger reviews of sworn declarations and official filings. Engelson's hints grow darker still. He alluded to rumors of a possible child from that early marriage, allegedly placed in an orphanage or quietly given up to avoid derailing Meghan's ambitions. He did not state this outright, but his language was deliberate, implying knowledge that could shatter the carefully cultivated image of Meghan as a devoted mother. Online forums and fringe reports have circulated these claims for years, suggesting a teenage pregnancy tied to a man identified as Joe or Joseph Giuliano, with unverified accounts alleging the child was absorbed into another family without formal adoption. Filmmakers and commentators have periodically reignited these rumors, pointing to alleged birth records from the mid-1990s that never entered public databases. Mainstream media has consistently dismissed such stories as baseless. Yet their persistence, fueled by anonymous accounts, alleged eyewitnesses from Meghan's early Los Angeles days, and recurring leaks, continues to raise uncomfortable questions about transparency. Now, with Engelson threatening to present evidence directly to the royal household, the calculus changes. This is no longer about gossip. It's about whether a web of omissions, half-truths, and carefully managed narratives can withstand formal scrutiny. As public reaction intensifies from disbelief to vindication, the momentum feels impossible to stop. What began as a personal reckoning now carries the weight of institutional consequence. And as whispers grow louder, one thing is becoming clear. The past Meghan worked so hard to bury may no longer stay buried, that if these claims were ever verified, the consequences would be staggering. They would shatter the smooth storyline that traces Meghan's rise from independent actress to polished royal matriarch, exposing potential inconsistencies in biographies, interviews, and public statements that have been treated as fact for years. Should tangible proof surface, adoption documentation, DNA connections, sworn testimony, or corroborated records, the damage would extend far beyond tabloid embarrassment. It would recast Meghan from a symbol of empowerment into a figure associated with calculated omission and narrative control. For the royal institution, the implications would be even more severe. Constitutional and legal experts quietly warn that any undisclosed child, even one without direct succession relevance, could complicate questions of lineage and transparency. The monarchy depends not just on tradition, but on public trust. Any suggestion that critical information was withheld or misrepresented would undermine confidence in the system itself. Palace insiders have already hinted that internal verification processes may be quietly underway, assessing the credibility of these claims before they spiral further. Against this backdrop, Meghan's continued silence has only intensified speculation. Rather than calming the situation, the absence of a response has allowed rumors to grow unchecked, filling the vacuum with theories and assumptions. Online discussion has reached a fever pitch, with every comment, repost, and reaction amplifying the sense that something significant is being concealed. As Engelson's threats to formally approach the royal household loom larger, the prospect of an institutional reckoning feels increasingly real. What makes the so-called hidden child allegation particularly volatile is that it transcends personal scandal. It strikes at the core of royal legitimacy. If such a claim were substantiated, it would not merely damage the Sussex brand. It could provide the palace with a clear justification to act decisively, including revisiting titles and formal associations. With international media circling relentlessly, the pressure on the Sussex camp appears to be mounting by the hour. Looking deeper into Trevor Engelson's interview, his central grievance revolves around what he describes as ongoing intrusion into his personal and professional life. Married to Meghan Markle from 2011 to 2013, their relationship ended just as her career on Suits was gaining momentum. Yet Engelson insists the separation never truly ended. According to him, she has continued to insert herself indirectly, projects collapsing after anonymous tips surfaced, mutual acquaintances pressured to take sides, and opportunities allegedly undermined by behind-the-scenes maneuvering. He characterizes these actions not as coincidence, but as control. Engelson claims to possess emails and messages, some allegedly originating from Meghan's representatives, urging him to remain silent about their shared past. "It's like she's afraid of what I know," he reportedly said, frustration evident. He argues that this pattern persisted even after her marriage to Prince Harry, reinforcing his belief that she moves on publicly while attempting to manage narratives privately. Why speak out now? Those close to Engelson suggest the breaking point came when a potential Hollywood project, loosely inspired by their marriage, was derailed by legal pressure from Meghan's camp, citing privacy violations. To Engelson, this felt less like protection and more like censorship. He believes this interference extends into how their history is portrayed in documentaries and retrospectives, shaping public perception in her favor while erasing his perspective entirely. The irony has not been lost on observers. Meghan, who has built a global brand around autonomy and self-determination, now faces accusations of silencing someone from her past. Engelson's account paints a picture of a relationship driven by ambition, recalling conversations where her interest in elite social circles and royal proximity predated her relationship with Harry. He warns that if the interference does not stop, he will escalate the matter directly to the royal household. Positioning himself as a whistleblower rather than a resentful ex, Engelson suggests that his next move would invoke formal protocols designed to protect royal integrity. Analysts note that such a step could accelerate reviews of Meghan's status, particularly if evidence supports a broader pattern of misrepresentation. While critics dismiss his claims as bitterness, selectively leaked correspondence circulating in media circles appears to align with parts of his timeline, lending his accusations unexpected weight. Public fascination continues to grow as each allegation adds another layer to an already volatile saga. Global outlets track every development, and among the most explosive elements of Engelson's interview are his oblique references to Meghan's pregnancies. Once relegated to fringe speculation, these doubts now carry more gravity coming from someone with intimate knowledge of her early life. Engelson stops short of providing specifics in this interview, hinting instead that such details would be reserved for a formal approach to Buckingham Palace. The implication is unmistakable. Something about the arrivals of Archie and Lilibet does not align with the public narrative. He alludes to discrepancies in timelines and appearances that echo long-standing rumors of surrogacy or stage presentations. Sources claim Engelson possesses private communications from their marriage reflecting Meghan's earlier views on family planning, views that appear to contrast sharply with her later portrayal as an eager, hands-on mother. Those familiar with her history reportedly found the speed and timing of her pregnancies surprising. If Engelson follows through and submits evidence to the palace, it could trigger a formal verification process involving birth records and lineage, critical components of royal structure. Titles such as Duchess of Sussex are not symbolic alone. They rest on legitimacy and disclosure. As one constitutional expert put it, if credible evidence is presented, emotional considerations fall away, leaving only institutional preservation to guide the response. As speculation continues to spiral, Meghan's silence only intensifies the firestorm. Each day without a response leaves more room for conjecture, prompting the public to wonder what truths might surface under sustained pressure. Among the most provocative elements of Trevor Engelson's claims is his repeated reference to what he calls a dirty yacht past, a phrase loaded with implication. According to sources familiar with his account, it alludes to pre-fame episodes involving luxury yachts, extravagant parties, and proximity to powerful figures in Hollywood and international business circles. Engelson suggests these were not harmless social gatherings. He claims first-hand knowledge of environments where professional boundaries blurred, where influence and access were allegedly exchanged in ways that contradict the carefully maintained image of principled assent Meghan later presented to the world. In his telling, these encounters were part of a broader pattern of ambition-driven networking that went far beyond casual association. It wasn't innocent, he reportedly said, implying that certain relationships and situations, if exposed, could sharply undermine her cultivated identity as a humanitarian and advocate. Rumors of these yacht episodes have circulated for years on the fringes of celebrity gossip, often dismissed as crude speculation. What changes the tone now is Engelson's assertion that he can substantiate them. He has hinted at the existence of photographs, guest lists, messages, and witnesses that could directly contradict the refined royal persona Meghan has projected since entering public life on a global scale. His warning is explicit. If he approaches the royal household, he believes they will be forced to confront the full picture, not a curated version designed for public consumption. If such material were ever validated, the implications would extend well beyond embarrassment. For the monarchy, public trust, public funding, and institutional credibility are inseparable. Any credible association with behavior viewed as ethically questionable could offer justification for swift and decisive action, particularly regarding titles and formal recognition. Observers note that as these allegations gain traction, the narrative is shifting decisively, from celebrity scandal into a matter of institutional risk management. Engelson's interview does not stop at veiled threats. He methodically challenges what he describes as a fabricated life story, accusing Meghan of selective storytelling and strategic omissions. From her portrayal of a modest upbringing to the framing of past relationships, he alleges a pattern of revision, editing out instability and controversy while presenting a seamless, inspirational rise. Sources aligned with Engelson point to discrepancies between early interviews, biographies, and later accounts, arguing that uncomfortable chapters were quietly erased to preserve a marketable image. This scrutiny also extends to her departure from royal duties. Engelson characterizes it not as a spontaneous escape from hardship, but as another carefully engineered narrative, positioning herself as a victim while pursuing autonomy and influence on her own terms. By threatening to release correspondence and documentation, he aims to demonstrate consistency in what he calls a long-standing strategy of manipulation. In that context, title revocation becomes not an act of punishment, but an institutional correction, truth replacing myth. As Engelson's words continue to reverberate, insiders suggest that contingency planning is already underway. Legal and advisory circles are said to be quietly assessing exposure, timelines, and precedent. While Prince Harry may feel collateral impact, sources emphasize that the primary concern within palace circles remains the preservation of the monarchy's integrity, not the protection of individual reputations. What began as a personal grievance now threatens to evolve into a reckoning with uncomfortable realities. The ongoing silence from the Sussex camp only amplifies the sense of fracture. Without clarification or denial, public reaction has reached a fever pitch. Social media platforms are saturated with speculation, theories, and heated debate. Influencers, journalists, and amateur investigators alike are dissecting Engelson's interview line by line, revisiting old footage, comparing timelines, and digging through public records in search of corroboration. Every share, every comment, every viral clip increases the pressure on Buckingham Palace to respond. Royal correspondents now warn that prolonged inaction carries its own risks. The longer questions remain unanswered, the more normalized it becomes to openly question Meghan's titles. An unprecedented scenario in modern royal history. This is no longer a fleeting headline. It is an unfolding drama with potential consequences that reach far beyond celebrity culture, touching the core of royal accountability in the digital age. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share to stay updated as this story develops, and leave your thoughts in the comments below.